So it's okay if I'm here, but it's on mute, right? Alright, we are live. Brush off the dust on the mic, all that stuff. Just gonna do some reflecting, some connecting from a reading that I did earlier this month. But I'm gonna just vibe out a little bit, get set up. And welcome to the stream. This is yours truly, DrTrulove. Setting some energy into the air. Got a candle here. Got my oil diffuser. I'll be activating those in a second. Shout outs to all the Halloween costumes and creativity today. I hope everybody's safe or was safe. If anybody did any trick-or-treating or any parties, all the good stuff. Shout outs to Ivy Produced for hooking me up with my setup for today. Got my 2 cameras, microphone, OBS is set. And shout outs to UCAN too for the production today. Takes a team. So I'm gonna give it about 2 minutes and then I'm gonna switch over and start my lighting of a candle, and then get my oil diffuser going. Alright, we're going to start after these couple ads here. Shout outs again to Ivy Produce. Go check them out on the SoundCloud. Those are where the tunes are coming from this evening. And check out YouTube page, youtube.com/DrTrulove. I have a few readings up there on the tube, so you can kind of see the flow from the months that I've done readings. I don't do readings every month, just every now and again when the vibe is right. Alright, let's switch over here. Hey, there we are. We are live. Shout outs to all the ghouls and goblins out there, all the cool cats. This is yours truly, DrTrulove, getting ready to set some intentions and go over this 3-card spread that I did earlier this month. Just going to be lighting a bit of sage and bergamot into the air, as well as got my oil diffuser here. So let's go ahead and fire this bad boy up here. Get some of those vibes going. Got I think it's a lemongrass oil in here, so nice and clean scent. Raising the vibrations with that lemon. All good vibes. And I'll go ahead and light my candle here. So today's reading is coming from African American Tarot. This is by Jamal R. Thomas Davis. Typical tarot deck, 78 cards. Really nice artwork. Show it a little better up here. This is actually the first time I'm using this deck, so pretty exciting. One thing I do like about this deck here is the readings or the card interpretations aren't that long. Comes with a little guidebook that's typical of most tarot decks. Pretty short and sweet, so it really allows some room for interpretation. So there are definitely a lot of room for interpretation with this reading that I have coming up. And most of the time these guidebooks come with a little intro, so let's see. Hopefully my music's not too overpowering. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. Here we go. Alright, for the intro to this deck, the African American Tarot says the first man was African. It is common knowledge by now that the human race got its start in Africa for thousands of years. The African continent was the cradle of mankind, and it developed great civilizations and many different ethnic groups. This is one of the reasons why we cannot speak of a single African culture if we want to use the term to indicate a uniform set of myths, legends, and cultural references, much less if we want to speak of a unified Afro-Western culture. The historic atrocities of slavery, followed by those of racism and segregation, have robbed the individual African communities of the direct ties to their original culture without ever entirely breaking those ancient bonds. Afro-American culture, history, art, and mythology are defined by a common origin, Africa. This common origin is the cornerstone of this deck. So a lot of decks, they just have their kind of introduction, give you a feel for the intention set behind the deck. And this deck is based on a number of key concepts. There are archetypes, so the traditional arcana are associated with an archetype that's linked to the structure of the deck and designed in such a way as to be transcultural and thus independent of any specific African origin, culture, or ethnic group. Also mythology, so the cards are associated with one or more divinities of African origin whose nature reflects that of the corresponding archetype. And tradition, the traditional tarot structure is kept. The esoteric symbols of Western culture are replaced in the most literal way possible with symbols of African origin. And association, every aspect is connected to an equivalent historic reflection, well defined in Afro-American culture. The idea here is that the reader can find two different levels of reading. The first is the most obvious and permits a reading of the abstract and general meanings proper to the myths. This gives the tarot sufficient detachment as to not to oversimplify the intuitive path, and second, less specific, enables the Western reader of African origin to discern a deeper bond between the images and myths and his or her own experience and cultural identity. This element of recognition is the emotional vehicle that brings energy to the consultation. Okay, cool. I'm looking for the four suits, as I call them, in this deck are the Chalices, which are basically the cups, the Pentacles, which are basically like coins, and this also has wands, or sometimes they're referred to as sticks, And then it also has swords. So playing on the African origins for the symbols and all the cards and the artwork. So I have, like I said, this is a reading that I did earlier this month. Typically I do readings maybe once every 3 months, maybe sometimes every month. It just all depends. Typically I would set an intention for a reading. This one I didn't so much so set an intention. I was just doing a reading, and I wanted to do a reading from the new deck here. So just kind of experimenting with the deck, seeing what I get. And then typically, if I can find it, typically before I do a reading with the deck, I take crystal quartz. This isn't the one I typically use, but I'll take the cards out and just set the quartz on the deck to cleanse any other energy from the deck. Quartz is a cleansing, clearing stone. So I just leave it here for a few days, have it on my desk, and occasionally just interact with the deck. And then as time goes on, I begin to shuffle the deck. And I like this deck. It actually fits pretty good in my hands. Most decks are like really, really big and are kind of a burden to shuffle. So this deck's a little more hand friendly. So that's always nice. All right. So let me get through this last advertisement here, and then I'll go ahead and reveal 3 cards that I've got for this reading. Scoot it over a bit there. Alright, and typically when I have a 3 card spread, I like to think of the first card more of a memory or past or lessons. The middle card or the second card in the second position as things to draw my awareness to in the present. It could be also things to kind of just pay a little more attention to. And then the third card in the third card position is more of things that could be upcoming or things to kind of be on the lookout for in the near future. So let's go ahead and look at this first card here. So the first card was the 10 of Pentacles. So that's there. Get a close-up view. Camera's a little out of focus. Bring it down some there. So we have this ghost-like figure. Might be clearer here. Let's see. Kind of, sort of. Well, we have this ghost-like figure. They're standing on the side. And then it looks like a woman, a man, and an infant boy with some, looks like those might be sheep, and maybe a male sheep there too. And they look like they're kind of just conversing with each other, and it almost looks like the infant is trying to tell them like, hey, there's like something over there. A little hard to see, out of focus. So when I post this on YouTube, I will post an actual photo of the reading so you can see the cards a little bit better, just so you can just see the artwork. Got to do the artwork justice. So that's the 10 of coin, or excuse me, the 10 of Pentacles. Maybe this spirit here is kind of watching over these individuals. Oh, and there's also this other image in the corner here, and I believe that might be Martin Luther King Jr., I believe. Hang tight, getting some adjustments here. Alright, I think I'm back. Here we go. So, 10 of coin, that's there. I'm going to reveal all the cards and then give my interpretations and then go to the little guidebook here. So, the second card. So, we have the 8 of Wands. Oh, and Pentacles or coins typically represent things like wealth, prosperity, and typically things that are like growing in value. And then the wands, they can represent things like creativity, and lots of energy stored. But here we have, show a little closer image, we have a figure, it looks like a masked man kind of running away with some of the wands on his back, and his mask is kind of like, looks like if he's smiling, can't really tell. And then in the top left corner, or my top left corner, there is a figure that's kind of, looks like he's pioneering away. This is taking place somewhere in the clouds, so somewhere high in the sky. You have this kind of man figure kind of running away. Almost looks like he's just still like has more human characteristic than this other figure at the top, but he's still light enough to kind of hop along these clouds. And it looks like this other man in the corner might be climbing a mountain potentially. He's got like a pick. So maybe he's trying to discover his way from wherever he is. All right. So we had 10 of Wands. Oh, excuse me, 10 of Pentacles, 8 of Wands, and this last one here, the 4 of Chalices. Try to show that there. I'll show it over here. Again, kind of hard to see, so stay tuned with the YouTube. I'll be posting, I'll be uploading this recording and adding some of the still shots of the actual cards. But here we have a boy who appears to be, looks like he's feeding on some flesh from maybe another animal. And we have this, I think it's maybe a lioness there that's also feeding on some of the carcass that's lying there on the side, or on the other side rather. So it's like a carcass here, and they're both enjoying I guess a meal from that. And we have 4 cups or 4 chalices kind of spilled on the ground. Show it over here. And then in this corner, can't tell if it's a woman or a man. Looks like it might be 2 women, but I'm not sure. In the corner, looks like the one might be sleeping or possibly deceased. Up there, hard to see. Try to get a little closer, but you see 2 individuals there. One is kind of lying down, and the other one seems to be tending to that person. And then we have a fire going on the side there. So I don't know where the boy's parents are, but it doesn't look like the lioness is trying to like attack the boy. Almost looks like might be looking out or after the child there. All right, so those are the 3. See them a lot better there on this view. All right, so let me jump in and see what the little guidebook here says. So first up is the 10 of Pentacles. And some other tarot readers might have a different way of doing their reading, which is completely fine. That's, I think, one of the cool things about tarot is it's really up to interpretation. One reading might, you know, touch somebody one way. Maybe it doesn't touch another person another way. It's just all in how you interpret the cards yourself. So I typically don't do readings for others, but I am interested in getting started in that realm since I've got quite a few readings under my belt from doing self-reflection, true reflection readings, and really seeing a lot of, I guess, symbolism in what I've seen in the cards and things that have reflected back at me in my own reality. So I find that pretty cool. All right, 10 of the Pentacles. Where are we at? All right. So this card says Ombwiri. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Ombwiri. Ombwiri. It's ancestral protecting spirits, Gabon. And Martin Luther King. So that's, yep, that's who's in the corner there. Atlanta, Georgia, 1929. Memphis, Tennessee, 1968. Family harmony, health, well-being, family incomes, agreement, inheritance. So this card again is Ombwiri, so I'm guessing that's the spirit on the side there, the ancestral protecting spirits, Gabon. And then in the corner here, Martin Luther King, Atlanta, Georgia, 1929, Memphis, Tennessee, 1968. And this card representing family harmony, health, well-being, family incomes, agreement, inheritance. So interesting meaning from the guidebook here. Again, this guidebook doesn't really give really long, extensive interpretations, unlike some books that I've seen give. So I'm going to sit on that one for a little bit. Let's go to the second one here. the 8 of Wands. So let's see, 8 of Wands. Make sure I got the right one here. Let's see. Just want to make sure I don't confuse the swords with the wands. Let me make sure they don't have. Okay. So yeah, that's not a sword. That's definitely a wand. All right. 8 of Wands. So this is Eshu, spelled E-S-H-U, the god of communication and messengers, Nigeria. And James Beckworth, I'm assuming that's the person up here, Virginia 1798, Denver 1867. Travel, messages, rapid decisions, problem solving, opportunities, associations of ideas, sudden events, and love at first sight. So that's the middle card there. 8 of Wands. Just checking back and forth, trying to understand kind of how this deck is laid out. So it looks like they take an African archetype and a African American figure as the way that these cards kind of have that duality in them. So this last card here is the 4 of Chalices. So 4 of Chalice, we have the friendship of the orphan and the lion, and James Augustine Healy, guess that's who's in the corner there, Macon, Georgia 1830, Portland, Maine 1900. Noble sentiments, disinterested friendship, strong bond, new beginning, introspection, partial satisfaction, economic stability. So that is the 4 of Chalice. So it's quite an interesting spread that I have here. I do see some immediate connections from this reading and from just everything that's happening around me. So I'll start with the 10 of Pentacles again. Let me go back here. And like I said, these meanings in the books are really short. It only takes up about less than 6 pages because they have so many, I guess, language translations. So it's kind of cool to kind of leaves you up to your own interpretation. Let's see here. Going back to the 10 of Pentacles. Okay. So yeah, this ancestral protecting spirit. So oftentimes when I do These 3-card readings, a lot of the cards that end up in this first card position are this past ancestral space is often of protection vibes. I do pull a lot of pentacles or coins in the first card position. As far as health and well-being, that's definitely been a shift for me in the last maybe like 2 or 3 years, being a vegan and trying to live a healthier path going forward in the future. Also discusses family harmony, agreement, inheritance. So kind of similar to, well, I guess more so transitioning from the phase of losing my mom now over 12 years ago now, and going through that process of inheritance and agreements and family and all that. So definitely see a lot of symbolism in that card. And with the 8 of Wands, this figure here, Eshu, as the god of communication and messengers, Nigeria. So about travel, messages, rapid decisions, problem solving, opportunities, association of ideas, sudden events, and love at first sight. So definitely within the last, I would say, month or so, there have been a lot of decisions that I've made. I am, or I will be doing some traveling this month, and I have had to always do a lot of problem solving with running my own businesses and things. It's always problem solving, but that does also open up to many opportunities. I have also been to a conference in the last couple of months, so working on some networking since COVID and trying to get back out there and do my thing. That has opened up a lot of new opportunities. And then as far as sudden events, it's been a crazy last couple of weeks, I would say. A lot of people have lost a lot of loved ones in the last couple of weeks, so just trying to juggle all of that in the present moment. And love at first sight, can't say that I've experienced that. I mean, I have love at first sight every day with my husband, but trying to think of a moment, similar moment with that, feeling of you fall in love with something that you've tried for the first time or something like that. Nothing sticks out of my mind immediately. Not to say that I haven't had that experience, but I can't think of one at this moment. And then with the last card here, the 4 of Chalices. This friendship of the orphan and the lion, along with James Augustine Healy. Noble sentiments, disinterested friendship, strong bond, new beginning, introspection, partial satisfaction, economic stability. So to me, this card kind of means kind of understanding. You may not always get everything the way that you want, the way that you want it, but that last part about economic stability, that's pretty interesting, in that sometimes you kind of have to give up something for that stability. It also says here, new beginning, introspection, so kind of moving from each each stage and kind of starting anew, and again turning inward, introspection, looking more at your own intuition. And this kind of is like a strange friendship or bond that they have going on. I guess I would say it's not as common for an infant to befriend a lioness. Not to say that it can't happen, but kind of an unlikely friendship, but they're bonded for survival reasons potentially. And as far as the individuals at the top here, kind of makes me think of a transition, noble sentiments. So James Augustine Healy, prominent individuals. So all of these cards again kind of have that duality of kind of African origins paired with more African American figures. So pretty interesting there. This is typically the reason why I don't do a lot of readings. Over time, I like to kind of sit with the readings and go back, look at the cards. I'll have my cards sitting somewhere on my desk. I'll occasionally look over at them and see new things with the cards. For example, I'm kind of noticing down here with the 10 of Pentacles, the I think they're sheep down here, and the coloration of the cards kind of light to dark. And then here where they're above the clouds, and then here it looks like they're in some kind of cave. So I just kind of go back and forth and see different things in the cards that I might have missed in my initial reading of them. So I think there are lots of lessons that I'll be learning from this reading. I'm not sure how long I will keep the reading out. It just all depends on when it is time to retire the cards, as I say, and do a new reading. One of my favorite decks is the Hoodoo Tarot. I have it sitting up on my desk here. So I might go back to doing a reading from there next. I don't know, it just really all depends on whichever way the wind's blowing. I have about 5. I have about 5 or 6 decks, so most tarot readers do have a little small collection that they do readings from. But for me, it just really all depends on if I have an intention. If I'm looking for things like to be inspired, I might choose a certain deck. If I'm looking to learn a little more about history or more about my roots, then I'll turn to a deck like this one, the African American Tarot or the Hoodoo Tarot. So I like tarot. It's a pretty cool visual craft. Not for everybody, obviously. Since I am a visual person, it helps me kind of connect what's in the outer verse with the inner verse. And I just really like and admire some of the artwork that the designers and the artists put into the cards. So I find that really cool, and it's good. It's a good practice too for me, as far as photographic, I guess, memory. It kind of is I would say like a little brain exercise for me whenever I do my readings, so that whenever I reflect and think about past readings, I kind of visualize what the card looks like in my mind, and then from there I can kind of pull out what that card was, or what that card meant. And I still see Excuse me, I still see manifestations of past readings that I've done. So in a sense, whenever I retire reading, they're not actually, you know, dead and gone, because I'm always seeing different lessons and being like, oh yeah, I remember I saw that in a reading, or connecting that wherever that I see the connections happen. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have for tonight. Getting ready to hang it up and hang it on out. I appreciate any of those that have tuned in, whether live or after the fact. It's been like, I don't know, 5 months it feels like, or maybe more, since I've done a stream. But it's good to do this one live. Most of the time I don't do my readings live, so this is a little treat for today. And yeah, so not sure when the next time I will be back doing my readings, but be sure to either subscribe to my Twitch channel, DrTrulove, or my YouTube channel, also DrTrulove, just so you can be notified of the next time that I am live doing a reading, or I could be reflecting, could be anything. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel and like the video on the YouTube, and I hope to come and do some more in the next card tarot session. All right, let me gear my OBS here. Again, shout outs to UCAN and Ivy Produced for helping me with my setup for today and making it seamless and smooth. It has been an honor, a pleasure. This is yours truly coming with another tarot reflection, reading, connections, and just a little bit of interpretations of my last October reading. Oh, and shout outs to all the Scorpios out there. It is Scorpio season, so lots of fun and excitement coming up in November. And yeah, excited to see more of the manifestations from the cards. So I may be coming back with an update, or I might do some updating in my journal entries and things like that. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm going to switch here and close it on out. Thank you again. It's been an honor, a pleasure. It is yours truly, DrTrulove. And after these ads, we gonna vibe out to some Ivy produced jams. Thank you for tuning in.
Invictus May.